to the countdown.
Hi everybody, we're live.
Hey everyone!
Bye.
This is gonna be a fun show, y'all.
Mm-hmm.
I think so. So before you begin, go ahead and start sharing the stream and let everybody know that we're live.
I just did.
Did you? I gotta do it. Oh, it's always crazy when I have to do it because it takes me a
I
lot
did it in the
longer than
intro.
everybody. Right. So
Oh,
how's
hang on.
everybody? Am I doing this right?
Unicorn. I've shared it in my group.
Cool. So today
Given
we're
that
talking
we're-
about Jehovah's Witness urban legends. Are y'all ready for this?
Yes.
Leslie, I see you backstage. We're gonna bring you on in just a minute. So how's everybody?
Better?
Better? You
Good, yeah.
I love your poster. I just noticed you changed your poster in the back.
Yeah.
Yeah, because before it was the lady who
Yeah, the
memorialized.
Sarah Hagazi, yeah.
Yeah. Yes. And what about you, Molly? I see your unicorn. Why are you putting it up? Your unicorn and your minion.
I'm trying to put her in a place where she will be visible but not obstruct. Yeah, I guess.
All right. Hey, Anthony. Thanks for joining us.
Bye.
Hey.
All right. So y'all want to get started with our favorite Jehovah's Witness urban legends.
Okay.
And what we mean by that is, you've heard Jehovah's Witnesses circulate stories. I don't know. I can think of one off the top of my head. Like they told me that Siri tells them that they have the best translation in the world. And I've checked on Google. I've checked on Siri, and it never says it. So I don't know. So y'all tell me if that still work or not, or whether or not that's an urban legend or not.
I just made that up.
I think they did. But it's circulated around the witnesses so much that they were seeing it all the time in groups. And it's like, where did this come from? So we got a lot of other urban legends we got together. We got some guests today. As a matter of fact, we have Leslie. Hi, Leslie.
Hello.
Hi.
Thanks for joining us. So are you with us for the entire show? We didn't get a chance to talk to you backstage.
I will be with you for the entire show.
Wow,
Okay.
nice.
Thank you. Nice. So you got a few urban legends of your own, right?
Oh yes.
You want to start us off?
Yes. So I have three came to mind when I saw your post on Facebook. One that I'm sure everybody has heard. There's always that kid that wakes up and is sure that they saw there, in the case of our congregation, the troll doll moving on the shelf, and they're like, oh, it's demonized. So I don't know if that is a common word amongst all Jehovah's Witnesses. But
I remember troll dolls. I could not have a troll doll. Yeah. And I don't know about the troll doll moving and all of that. But yeah, we could not have troll dolls because we were told they were demonized.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I've always wondered about that word, demonized. It's a weird word.
People collect troll dolls, though, don't they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I wish I had them. I had one. Now I'm old. I'm all crusty. I'm getting older, and I'm now going back and buying things. Come on, Bella. You didn't do this just like an hour ago. You know what? Let's go. Right. Molly, you got some urban legends you want to
Yeah.
start with while I get this together over here?
So I guess everyone knows Sims, right? The game. And basically, it was coming out, like, Sims 1, Sims 2, and Sims 3 came out while I was still in as like a very young very young kid, and basically we were told that it's like demonized, yes, because they were like, oh, you can have like same-sex relationships in it, and then you have the like fortune teller woman, and it's like you can call her, you know, if you want to, and so that's like very very dangerous, because how will you like avoid that if you play the game? It's still there, you know, the option to call the fortune teller is built in, so that's like so that was one of the big things of my childhood, other than the obvious never watch anything with anything else that's not about JWs, basically.
Mm. Hi, Abs.
Hi everyone.
Oh yeah, Narnia. I forgot about that.
Oh yeah.
No Narnia or Harry Potter for us.
You're on mute, Spence. Spence, you're on mute.
Of course I am on mute. I'm just talking. Well, anyway, Narnia. What is Narnia? I don't think I've ever heard. Is that a movie?
Like
Yeah.
The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe.
Yeah.
Oh, well, you know, that one was definitely out. Even though Christians watch it, like not ex-Jehovah's Witnesses, they have like a division among themselves in mainstream Christianity, not the cult Christians. I'm talking about the other ones. I'm not the Jehovah's Witnesses rather. But they, oh my gosh. They give me one moment. I'm sorry, I'll be right back.
You're on mute again.
I'm gonna bring up the slideshow we did. I'm frazzled because she is upset. Y'all see her cutting up back here? Do y'all hear her? Or it's just me?
Yeah, I can hear.
Okay. All right, here we go.
Silence.
I'm sorry, this normally never happens, but I'm disciplining my child, and I am also trying to get this dog. This is, life hits you when it hits you, even when you're on a live stream, child. Here we go, bedknobs and broomsticks. Now I remember seeing this, not seeing it, but seeing it on TV when I was younger, like the commercials for it.
We went on holiday, and my parents were like, I don't know whether they wanted to get rid of us for the day or whatever, so there was like, right, you guys go to the cinema, and we looked at the films that were on, and we was like, yeah, we'll go and watch this, and it was like full of magic, and we was kind of like, should we leave, should we walk out? And we was like, nah, we'll just like carry on watching it, and it was like magic from start to end. So afterwards, like, what was the film like? It was like, yeah, there was only a tiny bit of magic in it, it wasn't that bad. So we just like completely lied, because we just wanted to stop and watch it. And then a couple of years ago, I saw the film, and I was like, how did we get away with like watching that much magic?
Wow. See, now I don't think I ever wanted to watch that because I don't know. It just I didn't understand what was going on at the time, but I know my mother wouldn't let me watch it anyway. So she was just like, Disney is out. Mostly like anything Disney was just like almost.
Yeah, I was told that my father was incarcerated when I was like 5. So obviously he was like, oh, my baby girl, we used to watch Disney movies together, so he sent me letters from prison on, these pretty letter papers, and I was told I need to burn them in order not to get demonized. And about, magic in movies, I also remember that my first like rebellious phase at like 13 was when I watched the Harry Potter movies, and I was like Well, that's fun.
Let's see what we got next.
So there was a book when I was growing up, and it was one of my favorites. It was called Hecate Peg, and it was about this witch who turned these children into different foods, and she was going to, of course, feast, as witches and lots of fairy tales do. And their mother came and guessed which food each of the children were based on their favorite foods, and saved the kids. They turned back into her kids. And one of the kids in the hall, he had sleep paralysis one night, and the book was in his room, and he remembered that the book was in his room. So after that, it was clearly a banned book, and I couldn't even get anything from the library that was by the same author. My parents were like, that woman is clearly demonized.
That happened to me too, because I used to like, okay, now I hate scary movies. I know we're supposed to have a chat talking about scary movies, and I'm supposed to watch a scary movie, but no, I hate scary stuff. But I used to love this book series when I was younger called Goosebumps by R.L. Stein. And it was one book in particular that I thought wasn't particularly scary. I can't think of the title off the top of my head. But my mother discovered that book, and every R.L. Stein book was banned after that. So I feel you on that. And I'm just off the top of my head, we could not watch when I was mentioning Disney. The only exception she made was for Little Mermaid. She really loved the Little Mermaid, but when I thought about it, you said like witches is typically are in children's stories. There was a witch in there.
Man, she was doing lots of magic.
Yeah, Ursula, and she was like conjuring stuff. And remember that scene where she's conjuring stuff, and before she take Ariel's voice. But I guess that was okay. So sometimes Jehovah's Witnesses parents, I guess they can be hypocritical depending on.
I don't think they
if
knew
it's their
Ursula.
Childhood favorite stuff.
I don't think they knew Ursula was based on Divine, the drag queen, either.
Oh yeah. Then that would have been totally out. Emma, you got a anecdote about your 16th birthday.
Yeah, obviously because my dad wasn't a Jehovah's Witness, my real dad, so he brought me a pendant on my 16th birthday. And I didn't realise, and my parents told me what it was, and I think they must have looked up in their catalogue, because the internet wasn't around back then, so I don't know how they knew that this necklace was a horn of life. And because they said it represented like fertility, and strength, I wasn't allowed to have it because it was basically like a good luck charm. So they made me throw it away, and I just remember I was gutted, and I wrapped it up in tissue paper, and I put it in the kitchen bin, and I wrapped it up because I didn't want like the kitchen waste to be touching it, and I just placed it in there, and I was really gutted about it. And then I thought last year I'd completely forgot about it, and I thought, you know what, I want to buy that again. So from the birthday money that my dad brought me this year, I actually brought it again and put it onto my charm bracelet. So, and I told my dad about it, and I'd never told him until the other day, and he was like, I can't believe your mum did that to you. I said I was really upset about it, and I was like, I'm not surprised, but I never ever wanted to tell him.
What is it about, parents feeling like demons attached to things? Because I know we had a trophy from my grandfather, and it had a flag on it, and my mother just insisted that the night she had a terrible dream, and the night we brought this trophy in, it was because she was looking all over the house, and she found that it had a flag on it. Now I don't know if that was just my mother's paranoia outside of just the regular Jehovah's Witness paranoia about things like that, but she was very freaked out that demons can be attached to things because of what they represent.
Yeah, I remember my mom going to like garage sales, and she would look through and be like, oh, if they have any spiritistic or religious stuff, we can't buy anything here.
Yeah. Or anything with a cross, or what would Jesus do? I used to want one of those bracelets so bad, not because I would care about what Jesus wanted me to do, because I thought it was a trend. I don't know if y'all remember those WWJD bracelets. It was a trend here in the United States. And I just wanted one of those. Or, when the cars here in Michigan, they have the little, I don't know what that little sign is. It looked like a little infinity sign.
Yeah, I know. Like a fish shape thing.
Yeah. You know, my mother did not buy a car because it was a used car. She refused to buy the car because it had that little thing on it. I'm like, you could take it off. No, that's okay. I'm like, okay, whatever. That was crazy. Oxfam? Am I saying that right?
Yeah, because that's in the UK. That's like a big second-hand shop, second-hand store over here.
Okay.
So like anything like Oxfam, we wasn't allowed to. Well, we was allowed to buy stuff, but we had to be really careful, like with antiques and stuff like that. In case there was demons attached to antiques. And then these are some quotes from people in my group that said about their experiences. Like one said a guy bought a leather jacket at a thrift shop and weird things started happening around his house. So they tried burning the jacket and it wouldn't burn until they called out Jehovah's name.
Oh my gosh.
And then there was another one where they said that there was a couple who brought a guitar in a thrift shop and it was possessed by a demon. And the couple got advice from the elders to burn the guitar, and they said that once they did that, the spirits were gone. And then other people said that they knew about demonic trinkets from garage sales refusing to burn, because that was the thing, like if there was demons attached, it didn't burn.
Which is crazy because, we couldn't shop at the Salvation Army for some reason. Also, I remember an urban legend here in Detroit circulating around, this field service story we used to tell people, the friends used to tell, and the friends used to tell in the group and all of that, field service groups and stuff, that this guy was on the porch, this elder was on the porch or whatever, and he was giving his presentation or whatever, and this man had inside his house, it was painted purple, he had all this Prince paraphernalia and all of this stuff, and as the elder was talking, the elder just got really overwhelmed and got really like lightheaded, and then a demon pushed him off the porch.
Right.
Oh, and not that he probably needed a drink of water, or just lightheaded for something else. But yeah, and so they was like, yes, so you got to be really careful. Don't bring Prince albums in your house or Michael Jackson and all of that. So
was that before or after Prince became a Jehovah's Witness?
Oh yeah, so I'm pretty sure now we'll be okay, right?
Mm-hmm.
I forgot, Prince was a J-Dub, right? They had his funeral in the hall and everything.
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy. Oh yeah, and this one is mine, I think, about superstitions, buying things from garage sales, demon being. I think we talked about my mom was like very leery of going to garage sales, buying personal items. She showed me, at the time, this was in the 90s, a watchtower saying, if you buy personal items from, it didn't say garage stores, I don't know what, secondhand resale shops, whatever, that demons can attach themselves to personal items. And it kind of reminded me of another Jehovah's Witness urban legend or false teaching or whatever you want to call it, of that when you take blood, it alters your personality. Did y'all remember that? Yes.
Yeah. Can I just say about that, because I remember the Pope before. Hang on. The Pope before the one before this one.
I don't know. Yeah, I know. I don't
If that
know.
makes
Know them
sense.
all. John
If that
Calvin.
makes sense. And he died in like some sort
Pope
of
John's. I think all named Paul.
I guess. I don't know. I don't know their names. I know that the Pope before, like two popes before.
Two popes before.
Lord. And basically he took a blood transfusion, and I remember in the hall they were saying that he died because all the sins from the donor got attached to him, and so that's why he succumbed to the illness and died eventually because of the blood transfusion.
Yeah, if you guys want to see
crazy.
that quote, it's on this site. It's a UK site actually. It's called
Yeah,
UK Watchtower Quotes.
and I remember saying that, you see, this is why we don't take blood. You get sick and you die,
Wow.
and
The other thing was with my nan was like really into jumble sales, and we wasn't allowed to go into ones that are in churches. And I remember a lot of the time she'd be really gutted because we want to go, and it'd be in a church, and she'd be like, "No, we can't go to that because it's in a church."
Oh yeah, or like here in Detroit, it's a big thing with black churches. Like they barbecue outside the church and sell barbecue dinners and stuff like that. We could not buy barbecue dinners and stuff from the church. You know, they always it was like I don't know how the church extended out to. I guess a Jehovah Witness superstition is that if you go out in a church, that demons is flying around in there because a lot of people don't go into the church because of that reason. I know my mama felt that way. I know we went to a funeral of one of somebody that died. Obviously, what am I talking about? Yeah, a funeral of a family member is what I'm trying to say. And we got there. My mother insisted that she had to leave because she had a headache because, the preacher, he was demonic and he had his eyes was looking directly at her because he knew that she was a Jehovah's Witness. She had this whole spiel, and I was just like, wow, like we just here for a funeral. But I mean, unless and it depends on where you come from too. My mother was very superstitious. If you guys are familiar with my family, it come from a small town in my grandfather called it Louisiana. It's actually Louisiana, and a lot of country folks, and they had a lot of superstitions down there, and a lot of it, my grandfather was into voodoo. His father and stuff was into voodoo and stuff. Now I think my mom carried a lot of those superstitions over to the Jehovah Witnesses, and then when the Jehovah Witnesses she started, had their own superstitions. I don't think it exasperated her paranoia. Like she was super paranoid about bringing anything in the house. Like we had video games that she would put on the porch. And I don't know if the demons can't come past the door or something. Like saying oh, put them out on the porch. I'm like okay, so the demons just gonna hang out on the porch. That makes no sense. But she's like, nope, y'all not bringing demons in my house. Like we couldn't play Mortal Kombat. I don't know if y'all can remember that video game for that reason. Let's see what we got next. Oh, this is so cute. I want a My Little Pony.
I never had them. Like my sister had one, and I remember that she had to go through this whole rigmarole of choosing one that wasn't to do with magic or anything like that. And I think there was only one or two she had the choice. And then the picture on the left there is from my group where someone had a daughter had gone to visit a mum and took this little unicorn My Little Pony, and the mum had cut the horn off it to make it be allowed in her house.
That is crazy. What is the horn going to do? The horn is magical? Is that where the magic is?
So yeah, she fixed it by cutting the horn off, so it's not magical anymore.
So it's just a regular horse now, I guess.
Yeah.
Oh man. You know what? We had My Little Ponies though. So that's why I'm so nostalgic about them. The collector's guy. I wish I had them, but I guess we never watched the cartoon, and neither did my mother. So maybe my mother didn't know.
In it though, weren't there? So
yeah, we never watched the cartoon, so maybe my mom just thought they was just really pretty horses or something. But yeah.
Were any of your parents afraid of having people pray for them who weren't Jehovah's Witnesses?
Oh yeah.
Yep.
My mom was terrified. Yep. She was like, they'll send demons to us if they pray for us.
Even funnier, or funnier, whatever, is that we couldn't say bless you, or good luck.
Yes.
Obviously. Yep. And in Hungarian we have two expressions. One of them says bless you, and the other one, may you get better soon. and we always have to go with the "May you get better soon." Like and it's something that I carry this day because it's stuck. It's something that it's in my language. I don't like saying "bless you" for some reason.
And you
Right.
couldn't clink glasses and say cheers because apparently that was warding off demons as well.
I forgot about that. Yeah, we couldn't say cheers.
Yeah, and about My Little Ponies, it's crazy because we grew up with those movies coming out. Like I was 12 when the first Iron Man movie came out. I grew up in the like big era of like the Disney classics, Hannah Montana, Wizards of Waverly Place, all that stuff. And what was crazy is that whenever we were watching, we were allowed to watch Hannah Montana, which is about a girl wanting to be famous, but we weren't allowed to watch like Wizards of Waverly Place, obviously, for the obvious reason. And I remember even when we were completely alone at home, we would, either turn off the TV or immediately switch the channel if it was mentioned. Any magic, any religion, any spirituality, anything like that. Boom, out. Turn off the TV, change the channel immediately. We weren't allowed to watch like Turkish series because they were openly Muslim, or some of the characters are openly Muslim, and they were like, "How can you watch this when they have sex before marriage? And how can you watch this when they have like openly Muslim characters?" I'm like, oh my god.
Wow. Cabbage Patch Dolls, yeah, as well. I
Yep.
remember them.
Cabbage Patch. I had a few.
I think my sister had one, but then again, I think you had to be really careful which ones. And then someone else there was saying, like, in my group that they were told they were possessed, and apparently they were told that they used to rip little girls' heads off and throw them out the window. Like,
What?
why would you tell kids that? So she said she always used to keep them in the closet, and when she slept, she kept them in the closet so when she slept they wouldn't rip her head off during the night.
That's crazy.
Like,
Now
why
that's
would
an
you
urban
tell kids
legend. But I had a few. My auntie actually used to make Cabbage Patch dolls, so I think that's probably why I probably got away with them. Got away with that. Oh, this is a big one. Everybody that responded to us had a Smurf story.
Everyone knows the Smurfs, and I remember it was a few years ago, and I wish I'd have noted the lady's name, and I'm sure it was in my XJW group, and she told me that it was her husband that accidentally started the rumour. She said that a child had left the Smurf in the Kingdom Hall, and he moved it and put it on the wall outside, and nobody seen him move it, so they all just apparently said that this Smurf was demonised and got up and walked there by itself, and then apparently that just started the whole rumour to do with Smurfs.
Cause I heard it too. Way over here. So we obviously I can watch Smurfs. And I actually went back and watched this movie. I loved the movie. It was cute.
My mom would let me watch episodes that didn't have Gargamel in them. So I would just tell her that none of them had Gargamel in them. She'd come and say, so, and I'd be like, no, doesn't have Gargamel in it.
Ooh, a game?
Yeah, Dungeons and Dragons, that was like a big thing over here.
Yeah.
And it was like a role-playing game, but apparently because it had wargaming roots, that it had like elves and wizards, and he wasn't allowed to play it. But the ironic thing is that one of the guys that designed it was actually an XJW.
Ha ha ha! That's great.
That's funny.
I never knew that. Wow, that's
Me
fucking
either.
awesome.
Sorry, I'm having lunch too.
I mean,
Everybody
what's crazy about the Smurfs though, before I forget, sorry, is my sister loves Disney, Hello Kitty, Winnie the Pooh, all these like old school like kids cartoons, and she had this big Papa Smurf plushie, and I remember we painted the house, and so I needed to sleep in her room. And I was always bitching and moaning about how that Papa Smurf plush is demonic and stuff. And so I slept in her room, and we were talking with my JW family, and I noted, oh, I slept so good. And instead of, assuming that, oh, maybe the room's situation fits you better, like the way the room is situated or something like that, like a reasonable person, they were like, no, that's actually the demons from the Papa Smurf plush making you sleep better so that you would think that the demons, that the demonic presence is pleasant and beneficial.
Wow.
That was a trip. That was like a whole Olympics of mental gymnastics,
You ain't lying about that. We could watch Gargoyles because my mother thought that was just demonic, or X-Men because Professor X saw into the future. That was way out.
I remember when Iron Man came out. I'm sorry if I interrupted you. It was not my intention. I remember when Iron Man came out, my JW mom said, y'all can't watch that movie because there's no such a thing as an Iron Man. So we didn't. And when I left the JW was one of the first movies I went and saw in the cinemas with my new friends who were not JWs was Age of Ultron. And then that led me to like be obsessed with the comic books and with the with the Marvel movies and the DC movies, like the Batman movies and stuff. And I was like, oh my! Ever since I'm just such a nerd for superheroes.
Scooby-Doo as well. We wasn't allowed to watch that because of like ghosts and other stuff that happened in that.
And that was crazy because my mom used to tell me, I found out when I got older that it was not really demonic, that they would solve it at the end, like somebody else would be the culprit, like real life culprit. It wasn't like demons or something like that, which was crazy. Why Scooby-Doo was off limits.
What's also fun is I don't know how many people know Jake Long, the American Dragon. It was also a fun series, like about dragons and some, Eastern, like more like Chinese kind of magic stuff. And we weren't allowed to watch that. We weren't allowed to watch like shows that had anything to do with like another culture or had an open religious character. That was crazy. Like there was this Turkish series, and it was about a relationship between a guy and a chick, and because the chick refers to herself as a Muslim, we weren't allowed to watch it.
Crazy. And this slide, there was always some sort of variation of like an angel protection story going around, where it normally goes along the rise of an old lady knocks on somebody's door, and the guy is either like a rapist or a serial killer. And then the story I heard that he was caught afterwards. This old lady, JW, knocked on his door, and they said to the guy, well, why didn't you harm that lady? And he says, well, because of the 2 7-foot men stood beside her. And it's just like, yeah, right, okay. So they make out that 2 angels appeared. And there's varying stories that, the guy was a rapist, and he said about 2 giant angels stood behind her. And I've heard that from many, many different variations.
I think a lot of those urban legends probably come from the yearbooks. Oh, and they just circulate, because when I've read like some of the old yearbooks, you'll come across some of these old stories that people tell.
Yeah, they did,
And I,
didn't they? They put stuff in there.
yeah, and I don't think that stuff
Yeah.
be real. I mean, I don't, I know I'm offending some Jehovah Witnesses who like to lurk on our stream, but the yearbook stories, why don't y'all verify them? It's just people just, it could just people making up stuff.
Yeah.
Like, they had to swim, 10 miles in alligator infested water to go to a Kingdom Hall. I'm sorry, I don't think that's real. And if you heard it from somebody that heard it from somebody, then y'all put it in a yearbook, it's a rumor.
Yeah.
And they're using Jehovah's name as a lucky charm for dogs out in field service.
I have a
I
story
heard
about
so
that
many
too.
stories of people saying, just witnesses say that if a dog come and try to attack you out in field service, um, just say Jehovah's name and then the dog will go away. Like, no, it won't. Like,
Yeah,
Jehovah's.
yeah, we used to do that with my JW family. We were out like, walking or doing field service or stuff. Like whatever, even if we were just walking, just to the store or something, we would have like these stray dogs, sometimes rabid, around our area. And we would, the three of us, like the three kids, we would hold hands and say like, get away from us, Satan, for Jehovah is protecting us. And then if the dogs stayed silent or started running at us but get around, we would be like, oh, thank you, Jehovah. And it's like, well, maybe it's just that the dog wasn't actually gonna do anything. But, who are we to know such a thing?
I'm sure dogs do not recognize Bella don't never listen to me, and I'm calling her by the name I was calling her since she was younger. So she just goes, here, Jehovah. Oh, okay, I'll stop. Yeah, okay, whatever.
Try it in the middle of the stream, Jehovah, please. Shut my dog up. Shut my dog up, Jehovah. See what happens.
Right. So I think a lot of the urban legends come from y'all yearbooks that are unverified stories.
Yeah.
About people doing the most.
I'd think so too, myself, yeah.
Let's see. This is interesting.
So this is a story that someone in my group told me. She said there was one sister who wanted to know if her fiancé was sincere about the truth. So they went for a walk and she threw a Bible off a bridge and said, I don't believe any of this crap. And he said, me too. Then she revealed that she was testing his loyalty and didn't want to marry him. So she says it was a story that they told all of our sisters about being careful who they marry.
Oh, you know what? I also think, just thinking of this, probably urban legends come from the platform at assemblies. Because people, when y'all circulate those illustrations that they do over and over again, it's almost like the telephone game, and it's never like the original thing that you hear from the platform at the assembly. And people, they have Jehovah Witnesses. Y'all still superstitious too. Like, what is this whole thing? Oh, don't tell me about the talk. Like, what's gonna happen to you if you go listen to the convention in advance? Nothing.
Yeah, it's like Chinese whispers sometimes, isn't it? It's
like it's like, you can't listen to the talk. Don't listen. Oh, don't tell me anything about it. Okay, whatever.
Yeah, I heard similar things to the woman testing her fiance's loyalty as well.
Right. I'd never heard about that.
That's crazy. And you know what? Pioneers, they circulate these stories a lot too in groups. Because I think a lot of the urban legends that I've heard about Smurfs and all this other kind of stuff, the man demon pushes people off the porch. That was all in car groups, field service car groups.
Pioneers are the worst. Like, they are like clucking hands, man. Just gossiping all day, doing nothing else. Just gossiping. Nothing else.
Right.
Do they count their time while they're telling these stories?
Yeah, because that's not witnessing.
I guess they do because now they use them carts and ain't nobody walking up to them. So they be just standing there like a dirty salesman on the corner of the streets, just clucking. Quack, 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 just gossiping about anyone else's business but they own.
Right. Oh, well, I used to be a pioneer, honey. I didn't do much gossiping, but I did a lot of listening.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't tell business, but I listened to it.
That's
did it
always more
once.
fun.
I did it once in the school holiday, I think, and I didn't make the time allotted, and that was enough for me. I never wanted to do it ever again.
Oh yeah, I was kind of forced. It was like my destiny.
Mm.
After you, especially like after you have, like if you've been a publisher, then it's like it's a track,
Mm.
and then your parents looking. Okay, so when you gonna start doing this? When you gonna get baptized? When you gonna join the school? When you gonna be a publisher? It was just like all constant, like badgering, trying to move
And
up in.
Your school holidays, you want to be able to go and have fun, but like you're not allowed to do most of the stuff that we had. Like certain schemes where kids would go on and they'd go on days out to different places, and we wasn't allowed to join that because it was full of worldly kids. So they're like, I know, you can knock doors for 60 hours in your school holiday instead. That'll be fun for you.
Right.
Like,
Leslie, you trying to jump in here? I know we talking.
Oh no, not
Oh, okay.
not yet.
I saw your
Oh,
music.
about music, I'm sorry, I needed.
I have
Sorry.
a few things to share about
go
the
ahead,
music,
Leslie.
though. My mom was one of the people who was like, we played the Led Zeppelin Stairway to Heaven album backwards, and there are demonic messages on it. So I was, needless to say, not allowed to listen to Led Zeppelin growing up, and Kiss was absolutely out of the question as well.
I remember them saying from the platform, like, kids in Satan's service, and I was like, what? Like, really? And that quote's from a group where she said that there were so many that gave her nightmares, urban legends, but the one classic was playing the record backwards, and it was Satan, who said the world was coming to an end, and if people followed him, he would save them. It just like, I remember hearing about being played backwards records, and I would never even thought to do that. I never even tried it, even because I just thought back then, yeah, whatever, that's just bollocks. So, what would be the point?
Right.
And then people also said, like, playing heavy metal, obviously it brings demons into your homes. And
See, we were told it wasn't kids in Satan's service, it was knights in Satan's service.
Ah, okay.
Mm.
No, I heard
remember.
about that. I didn't listen to rock music, but my mom used to say no. Well, I started listening to like cheesy rock music, and 90s stuff like Third Eye Blind, and all of them and stuff like that. But my mom, like, no, you can't listen to all that Tool, because everybody was listening to Tool when I was growing up, and she was like, because she repeated that if you would play the record backwards, that it started saying a bunch of demonic stuff. So yeah, that got all the way in here in the United States too. Go ahead, Molly. Then I want to read some ones off Twitter.
Yeah, like what was crazy is, well, I guess everyone knows Fall Out Boy, and that their music is not Jehovah's Witness friendly. But I remember we got away with listening to This Ain't a Scene and Thanks for the Memories. Those were like very big when we were like kids, obviously. And I remember we got away with listening to it just on the merit that Hungarian adults who are older than 30 don't speak no languages. So they didn't understand the lyrics, but they, if they heard anything like even remotely fun sounding, like, like a giggle in the song or something, they would go to Google and translate the lyrics, because they were like, well, if she's giggling like that, then obviously it's something sexual, and you can't be exposed to something sexual now, can you? And stuff like that. It was wild.
So somebody on Twitter brought up fortune cookies.
Can I just tell a quick music story, actually?
Yeah, go ahead.
I don't know if I've told this before, but one of the last conventions I went to, it was in like a big football ground. And I normally had to sit with my parents, but I was house sitting for my nan. So me and my friend who was house sitting, we managed to go to the convention separate from my parents. And they'd said, make sure you find us. And I was like, yeah, we'll try. We didn't. So we sat at the opposite end of the stadium. And then we was there, and then there was this talk where he went, brothers, do you listen to your children's music collection? And I was just like, And I just looked at my friends and I was like, oh, crap. And she's like, what? I was like, I need to find my sister. She was like, what? I was like, I need to find her and tell her to put on my Nirvana, Metallica, Pixies, Aerosmith album that my stepdad had told me to get rid of. I need to find her and tell her to put my CDs under my mattress. And like, obviously there's thousands of people in this football stadium. So in the dinner hour, I don't know how I managed it, but I found her. And I was like, please put my CDs under my mattress. And she did it for me. So I was like, oh, thank you. Because I knew my stepdad was going to go straight into my room when he got back off that assembly and go listen to more of my records. Because I'd get home from work and he'd be like, I want you to throw this away. Why? Well, this song says this and that song says that. And I'd be like, I've just paid $14.99 for that Aerosmith album. I'm not throwing it away. And he'd be like, well, you're not playing it in this house then. So I had a stack of CDs that I wasn't allowed to play until I moved out.
Hi, Rebecca Ford. Anthony, I'm not going to flash his comments right now, but he said he tried to play the records backwards. It was just backwards music.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, that's, yeah, my mom used to, and I remember that $14.99 price, by the way, for CDs. So I remember that back in the day. See, I was in Columbia House. Remember Columbia House where you get all those CDs for like a penny? And then like, well, we used to have like a subscription here in the U.S. Like
an online delivery thing.
Yeah,
I can't remember what it was called, but I used to spend all my wages on CDs, getting them delivered online. Yeah.
Me too. I guess that's a 90s thing, y'all. But somebody on Twitter mentioned that fortune cookies, fortune cookies, you could not open them and read your fortune because they thought that was demonic.
Yeah.
And somebody else said something about you shouldn't say lucky. You're supposed to say fortunate when they mean the same damn thing.
But I don't understand.
We can't see these on screen, by the way, Spencer.
You know what? I didn't bring them up on screen. I was just going to read them.
Oh, okay.
Because your presentation is much nicer.
You know what I don't understand about their obsession with not watching or listening to anything that includes a mention of another religion or spiritual way of thinking. It's like, isn't Jehovah supposed to be like the biggest dick around the playground? Like, why are we? What are we doing? If you all are so sure about Jehovah, then why are you so intimidated by another?
What does he say threatened?
Well, you know what I think. Within, not to get off on a religious discussion, but within a Christian, the Jehovah's Witness theology, they are so afraid of dark forces and demons and demonic things happening. And you would think, like you said, if Jehovah is supposed to be, big and bad and mighty, like, well, you shouldn't be afraid to be watching a movie with ghosts. Like, we can watch Ghostbusters, which was pretty lame to you guys.
You were allowed to watch Ghostbusters, lucky.
No. I was not allowed to watch Ghostbusters.
Oh, I heard.
Which I thought was lame. It was like the really bad CGI. I don't know if it was CGI back then, but ghosts, and it wasn't like real life ones. But yeah, that was out. Or we couldn't sing the song. The song was really popular on the radio. Like, who you gonna call? We used to say, who you gonna call? Ghostbusters. Y'all better not be up there talking about no Ghostbusters.
I remember. You guys remember Pink, Britney Spears, and Beyonce with "We Will Rock You"?
Yeah.
Now, my JW mom said it originally said "fuck," so we're not allowed to listen to it. And then, obviously, we weren't allowed to listen to Queen because Freddie Mercury was like hella gay. And Elton John, Michael Jackson, we weren't allowed to listen to Michael Jackson, only the Earth song. That's the one song that we were allowed to listen to, because the others were, sexual or whatever. And,
my mother took the Thriller album and broke it in half after she saw the video. So which
Oh
was about
God.
ghosts and goblins and goblins. And I
Yeah.
still don't. I have still not seen Thriller, and I never will watch it because I'm just not into
Too
it.
scary for you.
There was this song.
But yeah,
Go ahead, Leslie.
I can't
Yeah.
remember the name of the song or the band, but it's the song where he says, "Get it on, bang it gone, get it on." My dad he used to
Oh,
change
yeah.
that every single time it would come on, and finally I was like, "Why do you change that song?" And he's like, "I don't like that song because it has drug references." I'm like, "Drug references?" He's like, "Yeah, gong, that thing that kids use to smoke marijuana out of." I was like, "That's a bong, not a gong."
Oh, another song that stuck in my head because it was everywhere when I was like 13 is Miley Cyrus's "Who Owns My Heart," and the lyrics is like, "Who owns my heart? Is it love or is it art?" Some stuff like that, and like we are living art. And then, my JW family was like checking out the lyrics on Google, obviously, for every song, and they used Google Translate and then asked me to translate it too. And obviously, the good little brain was JW I was, and it's like thing that was out of line, I called out, and then we did not listen to those songs. Everyone would hate me in a Kingdom Hall. I'm sorry to that man. I really am.
I know, like we couldn't. Well, obviously nobody could, as Jehovah's Witnesses. Marijuana. I know y'all 90s people. Marijuana was out. It was no such thing as medical marijuana. Back then, we were told that if you smoked marijuana, the demons was present. My mom was like, "What do you think?" Especially, why are they using all that smoke? I'm like, because you don't smoke marijuana. When you smoke marijuana, it's a lot more smoke than an average cigarette. I don't know. In the yearbook, I believe, was it the yearbook? I want to pull it up. In the night, they used to equate spirits or if you're not a Jehovah's Witness, spirits or demonic things with drug use. Like it went hand in hand.
Well, my dad said even smoking cigarettes, he was like, "That's how you call in the demons."
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
what it is. That's what I was looking for. Calling on the demons. How you calling on the demons? How do you call on the demons? How does that even work?
Yeah.
Talking about songs there, you just reminded me where on a Sunday after the meetings, we'd go home, have dinner, and then some of us would go and play football in like a big field, not far from mine. So us girls used to just sit really and watch the boys play football. And we used to have this thing called Top of the Pops. And it was on the radio, not Top of the Pops, it was the Top 40, where it was on the radio and they would like play through the top 40 songs in the charts. And I remember when Let's Talk About Sex by Salt and Pepper was at number 1. And so when it got down to number 1, I used to like turn the volume down like really, really quiet because I liked the song, but I'd turn it down so low, hoping that nobody like around me. And then people knowing that I'd listen to the charts go, "Have you turned that off?" And I'd be like, "Yeah, I've turned it off." But I'd be like trying not to hum it and like sing along to it because it was a really catchy song as well.
Yeah.
I remember that was my jam back in the day. Did y'all parents, did they get really weird about I had it. What else I was trying to think? I just had it. Oh, about saying fool, like because of the Bible said you despicable fool
No.
or something. If you say you
No.
despicable, yeah, mom was like, let me show you the scripture where it says, don't be calling nobody a fool because this is my mother used to do that all the time.
Oh Lord.
Yeah, I'm looking like, well, what's gonna happen to me? Or, this is not a Jehovah's Witness urban legend. This is just something I wanted to know. Did y'all? Oh, since y'all international, like, well, y'all, I'm sure we're international to you guys, but I'm just wondering, like, did y'all used to hear this story of like the pig lady or something? Like you would look in the mirror and say "pig lady" like 3 times, and like you something bad is supposed to happen.
The Candyman.
Oh, that's how we can watch Candyman. Maybe we had our own little ghetto version.
But there was a thing to do with you say Candyman in the mirror 3 times and he appears.
Is that
and
a
I
movie?
think then and then I think they broadened it and there was one my nieces was telling me about there's some sort of witch lady that if you say her name in the mirror 3 times she comes out to get you or something.
Bloody
Oh my
Mary.
gosh.
Bloody Mary, that's
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
We know about Bloody Mary, yes. Another thing that was crazy is, as kids do, we would, when we watched stuff, we would pick our favorite character and say, like, when they do something that's relatable to us, kids would be like, that's me. Like, and our JW parents overheard this conversation once when we were making, like when I was making a joke about how this character is relatable to me because I am clumsy, and I was like, that's me, and she was like, no, that's not you, and that's demonic to say stuff like this, and I'm just like, oh my god. So even that was demonic, saying that's me when a character did something you can relate to.
I flashed the last comments across the stream, so you may have saw some of the comments there, but I didn't read them off because we pretty much covered them.
Yeah.
We
There's
really did.
there's
Go ahead.
one urban legend that my great aunt told, and I used to tell it to adults, and I would be like, I can't believe they're buying into this. So she told this urban legend that was this cautionary tale about don't hang out with worldly people. This woman who she was a Jehovah's Witness, and she worked with these really nice people, and they kept inviting her out and kept inviting her out. And they were like, you should come around to a barbecue. And she was like, you know what? They're so nice. I think I'm going to take them up on it and go to the barbecue. So she goes to the barbecue. And I remember my great aunt Marie going, turns out she was the barbecue and they were Satanists and they sacrificed her to Satan. And she told me this. I was like, I must have been like 7 or 8 years old as she's telling me this. And I remember thinking, there's no way this is real. And then I remember telling other kids and seeing them kind of look at me skeptically. And then I'd tell adults and they would be like, oh, that's terrible. This is why you should never hang out with worldly people, no matter how nice they are.
Oh yeah, they have all kind of superstitions around Satanists. But yeah, we're not to pick on Jehovah's Witnesses, so do Christians. They say some wild stuff about Satanists. The Satanists. And what I'll just say really quickly, the Church of Satan. Who replied to me on Twitter because of something I said about, which I wasn't talking to them, but I was talking about the Jehovah's Witnesses. I've learned after leaving, they don't actually worship Satan at all.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, it's a joke to trigger Christians into reacting. But also another fun thing is about condoms, and that's just something that stuck with me. Is the Pope said, again, that same Pope who died because of the blood transfusion, and he just said that condoms are sinful because they let you give in to lust without the consequences and without the blah 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 religious bullshit blah blah blah. And JWs at the time, at least where I live, and I don't know how that pans out globally, but they were like, this one we agree with, because if you use condoms, and then you can have premarital sex without the consequences, and Jehovah wants you to get sick and pregnant if you don't follow those rules. Hey.
I was just thinking, is Aaron popping on to tell us about his story?
It's nice to see you. You looking good.
Thank you.
So are you going to tell us about John Denver?
Huh?
Are you going to tell us about that John Denver story?
Oh, yeah. So, years and years ago, I remember there being a story that was going around in our Kingdom Hall about how one night John Denver went on the Tonight Show with Johnny Carson, and that he was going to sing a very patriotic song. I can't remember if it was God Bless America or whatever, but he supposedly got on the mic and said, if there's any Jehovah's Witnesses in here tonight, I'm going to ask y'all to leave because you're not going to like this song. And apparently, he also supposedly did that at his concerts, but I don't have confirmation of that. But he asked them all to leave. Well, he goes afterwards and sits down on the couch talking to Johnny Carson, and Johnny Carson just, bullshits with him for a minute, or excuse me, sorry. He talks with him for a minute, and then he says, "Oh, by the way, I know what you did, telling Jehovah's Witnesses to leave." He's like, "That was pretty funny." And John Denver's like, "Yeah, I'm not a big fan of theirs." And Johnny Carson says, "Well, you see that lighting guy over there? He's a Jehovah's Witness. And you see the guy operating that camera? He's a Jehovah's Witness. And I hired them because they're honest and hardworking. And now I'd like to ask you to leave." And supposedly told John Denver to leave his show. Well, I posted that in a group one time, and this was long before Facebook. And my email wound up being shown and featured on a Snopes article on their website, debunking that, saying that it's actually quite a common theme with sort of marginalized groups, that somebody shows hate toward them, and then somebody who's in a better position shows that same hate to the person that hated and tells them to leave. So yeah, it's been debunked there. And I looked up one time. I looked up guest spots on the Johnny Carson show, and John Denver obviously was a guest on his show many times, but there was absolutely no record of him being asked to leave the show. But I mean, it's funny to me that the Jehovah's Witnesses are so incredibly intense about being truthful and honest and forthright and everything like that, but yet they allow themselves to believe something that absolutely is not true.
Right.
Just because somebody here said this and somebody here said that. How many times did you read in the Awake magazine or the Watchtower about some so-and-so brother over in South Africa ran into a witch doctor, and the witch doctor started to try to throw a spell on him, and they said, "Jehovah rebuke you," and the witch doctor got knocked off his feet.
I remember go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say, they never say Brother Happy Man over in South Africa. They never say the name. They just say,
they ain't gonna name
there
names.
was an experience one time of this one person who sort of might have done this, And it's like, the superstition is very, for a group that claims to be so, godly and everything like that, they are one of the most superstitious groups I've ever run into. Don't go antique shopping. Don't go to the thrift store, because that iron skillet might have been used by a shaman or something like that, and it'll bring demons to your house.
Right. No, I know brothers. They used to circulate this urban legend about buying houses that were owned by. Well, I don't know. I guess this particular house was owned by somebody who was like a fortune teller or something like that. Mm-hmm. And these witnesses moved in, and they was warned not to move in there, but they moved in there anyway. And they claims they had problems with demons. And then they asked the elders to come over there to ask them to pray over the house. And supposedly, as they were standing there praying, the elders were praying. As they would say stuff like, "Jehovah, kind Father," they would hear demons going, "Dear Jehovah, kind Father." This is how the brother used to tell the story to us in the car. And he was like, the demons were mocking the elders, but the elders still strong, whatever, and they got the demons out the house. The brother and sister never had problems with demons in their house again.
Of course not. Once you get a Jehovah's Witness exorcism, there's nothing like it.
Right. I guess that's pretty much what that was, right? Or the people who prayed, and they just prayed, and they was just such in a desperate situation, and then the Jehovah's Witnesses showed up. I think that, that, I don't know if that's a superstition or that's just a downright lie they'd be telling in those yearbooks.
Well,
Or
really,
urban legend, rather.
Really, it doesn't matter. It just because when it comes down to the rank and file, it's like whatever comes from the society, they'll swallow it, hook, line, and sinker. Because they have to. I mean, I wrote that poem that time saying how they morph persecution into pride. And so they already have this persecution complex. So any little thing that makes them feel that much more powerful, they're going to swallow it. They're going to eat it whole, And it doesn't matter if names aren't named, or you can't tell them, the city and state that it happened in. It doesn't matter. Just, throw it out there. Throw them a bottle.
It's true. They want to believe stuff so bad, because I know, like, here it was an Earth, Wind, and Fire concert, and allegedly in this urban legend, the Earth, Wind, and Fire, they used to perform magical acts in a show. Yeah. Remember? I don't know if you remember. And so allegedly the band leader was like, if there's any Jehovah's Witnesses in the audience for this part, you might want to leave. Whatever. Why would he stop in the middle of his concerts just to address Jehovah's Witnesses in his audience? People would tell that story over and over in field service all the time.
I've also field
service groups rather.
Emma might have heard this, and I can't see her name. Leslie, you might have heard this. Iron Maiden was really big on that too, because they had Eddie, their corpse icon that they have on their albums and stuff like that. And they're like, Eddie's coming out and he loves to eat Jehovah's Witnesses. And they all run to the exit, And so
wasn't there some Ozzy Osbourne thing about that as well? Because apparently he was supposed to bite heads off bats and stuff on stage, and there was something to do with him and Jehovah's Witnesses.
Yeah. Bite the head off a bat on stage, but I don't think it was directed at the Jehovah's Witnesses. I have a hard time believing that any Jehovah's Witnesses would show up at an Ozzy Osbourne concert. They probably saw the news report that the concert was going to be there and started praying right then.
But a few years ago, one of the dudes that joined Iron Maiden, he was from our town, so we used to drink with him in the pub. So that was kind of interesting a few years ago.
I don't know if this is an urban legend or just a bad rumor, but we was told not to marry brothers who just got baptized, because my mother used to tell a story about, this brother, he just got baptized, and then all of a sudden he drove past the hall and said, yep, this is the last time you'll ever see it, and kept going. I'm like, what? I heard it from my auntie too, who was also a pioneer, so I don't know.
See, that's the thing. They spin so many of these stories, it's hard to, if you believe them all, then, and the thing is that for people that seem to be, they purport themselves to be so strong in their faith, they are so just like walking on eggshells in this world. Like every single little statement or action or even an image in a magazine is going to turn them demonized. I mean, we used to get told, my mom would always, we couldn't watch David Copperfield special. You remember David Copperfield?
Oh yeah, we couldn't watch David Copperfield either.
He's like, his eyes are demonized.
Yeah, they would say stuff like that, or disfellowship people. My mother used to say, when disfellowship people leave, they have this dark cast over their face. They have this darkness about them because they just not, in the light no more. Just look at them. And so when people would get this fellowship, when they would come in the hall, we'd be looking at them like, yep, they look like they've been worldly. They just out here in the world.
Why they look that way? It's because everybody in their whole fucking life is shunning them.
Right. Or I heard that the Bono of U2 studied with the Jehovah's Witnesses. I don't know if that was real or not. They used to circulate that.
I was going to ask regarding people who are disfellowshipped. My mom, anytime somebody was disfellowshipped, she would take anything that they had given her and she would throw it away, because she'd be like, the demons have gotten a hold of them. So you can't keep anything, because the demons could get in through the item that they gave you. Like, even if they'd given it years and years ago. My aunt had given me a few things, and then she got disfellowship, and my mom was like, you have to throw those away because they could be demonized.
That was a thing.
I remember my grandmother.
Wow. How did we actually come out this sane? Because thinking back now, the reality of every fucking thing was demonized. How did we actually come out
Yeah.
this sane?
I was paranoid. I was terrified. Even in my adult life, I was such a chicken anyway. You know, my nickname was Chicken Little. But even as an adult, I didn't like sleeping with the lights off.
Mm-hmm.
I was that terrified.
I remember my grandmother telling us a story about how she had gone to bed and was sleeping, and she kept hearing this knocking coming from her closet, and she couldn't understand what was going on. And she would open the closet, and there'd be nothing there. And she'd go back to sleep, and then she'd hear the knocking in her closet again. And so one day she went ahead and went through her entire closet and found this book that was like a picture book of all these different churches across the country. And she wound up throwing it away and never had any knocking since. You know, it's like, it's purely anecdotal, you know?
Right.
There's no basis to believe that it's actual fact.
It's never true. Oh, no, they never have no way to fact check any of this.
Right. And the thing is, it's like, if you do question it and say, well, how did this happen? When did it happen? Where did it happen? They're like, check your faith, brother, or something like that, you know?
Oh, yeah, it's always you.
I'm surprised you have demons in your house with that, Molly.
Yes. All the
I'm
demons.
surprised you don't have
All the time.
unicorn. You parties with the demons. Is that like cat? Is that like Corona Cat? Is that Corona Unicorn?
Oh, it's very similar to
No.
Corona Cat, isn't it?
No, it's gay corn.
It's a unicorn. What's his name?
I think me and my best friend just dubbed it the super gay unicorn, and we just stuck with that.
Okay. How are you and your friend doing? Did you have a good time?
Oh yeah, he just left before we jumped down for makeup, so.
Oh, okay. Well, you look like you guys were having a blast.
Oh, we were
That's awesome.
doing all the demonic things, you know, drinking alcohol,
Oh Lord, you're such a sinner.
listening to music that is about gay people and for gay people and all that.
Yeah. You're going right to Gehenna.
Oh wow.
Do not collect $200. You're going right to Gehenna.
You know, I always joke that one of my life goals is to go to hell in all religions. And I think I'm like super close to it.
Okay.
I would rather go to hell anyway, because heaven would just be boring as fuck. So at least in hell,
Exactly.
at least in hell, we can have a good party.
Exactly.
Well,
And
if you look at the depictions of the paradise, who wants to live in a place with all that polyester and you know, double knits and fucking khakis and polo shirts tucked in?
And
a bunch of
dresses with lace collars.
Yeah, they're still wearing the meeting clothes. Like what? And it'd be boring as hell.
Say hi. I wanted to tell you guys that story. I appreciate you guys having me on. I got a couple things I got to do, but it's good to see you guys.
Cool.
I love you all. Okay.
Good to catch up with you.
All right.
Speak
All
to you
right.
soon.
talk to you soon.
Bye.
My
what else?
headphones disconnected. Sorry. Thank you, hubby, with technical issues today. Ear love.
Yeah, he had
Yeah,
some stuff
just-
to do. But what's also funny is we were told, and I'm not sure, we're all ladies here now, so I guess this is the perfect opportunity to pose the question. Were you all told that short hair is dodgy to have short hair?
Well, my
I
mom
love that.
said that it made you look like a boy.
Yeah, like we were told that it's lesbianic and that it looks like you're
Well,
trying to
I
be
didn't want to say
a
the word that she said, but yeah, that's pretty much what she
Yeah.
said.
I had like a really short sloped bob to about here, and that was like really drastic. Like I still used to push my hair limits, like changing the colour every week as bright as I could, as drastic as I could get away with. So they expected me to do that kind of stuff.
My mom had short hair, and but it had to be a feminine cut, like my hair, how I have it now.
Yeah.
It would not fly.
Yeah.
I was thinking about earlier in our makeup chat, I was talking about birds, how we had superstitions around Jehovah's Witnesses, not just Jehovah's Witnesses, but I guess Jehovah's Witnesses. I have never heard Christians say that, the birds is going to eat you up and all of this stuff at Armageddon. So, like, my father showed us Alfred Hitchcock's movie, The Birds, talking about yep, this is what it's going to be like, y'all. This is what it's going to be like, y'all. And we were so scared. So when we go out in field service, we had this own, like, superstition of birds. Like, they stand around too long. They lingering. Like, the new system must be getting closer. I'm like, what? I know. And then the pioneers would say something, yep, it's going to be a feast.
Oh Lord, we had a superstition about white doves. That if you see a white dove, that means that at that moment Jehovah is like very fucking pleased with you. And I used to see white doves every time. I like purposefully was looking at the sky to see them white doves after while going to the meeting, or coming home from the meeting that I snuck off to, and developing like stomach ulcers at age 13 because it was so fucking stressful trying to get away from my mama without being noticed. Anyway, and I always, when you look for it, like obsessively, you will fucking find it. And I always saw these white doves. And I was like, yes, Jehovah is very pleased with me for lying, which is one of the 10 commandments that thou shalt not bear false witness. And then I'm out here lying to my mama straight up to her face like this. That, no, I'm not going to the meeting. No, I'm not. No.
How did we sleep as kids, though, with all this shit that was told to us? It makes me wonder, like, how we even slept without having constant nightmares?
Short answer, I didn't. I know I didn't.
I didn't.
I had nightmares.
I still have them as an adult. So, yeah, I definitely feel y'all on. All of y'all on that. Hey, is this an urban legend? Does anybody know whether or not a Jehovah's Witness actually talked to Barack Obama? Because I used to see pictures of...
Oh, and gave him a leaflet or something.
Yeah. Is that an urban legend or not? Did he actually listen? I wonder if that's true.
It's the same with Simon Cowell as well. There was pictures going around with him being given a flyer.
Really? Oh, yeah. And you know what? Hulk Hogan, too. I saw one with him. Unless y'all photoshopping pictures, Jehovah's Witnesses.
Yeah, you never know. They accused us of photoshopping, so you never know.
Yeah. Oh, they accused us of photoshopping everything. That they don't want to. That they don't want to look at or agree with.
Apparently, I've hacked their website and changed their child sex abuse policies. That's an urban legend.
Yes, it truly is. It's actually a lie, or I guess it's an urban legend. Apostates don't hack. How can we hack the Watchtower? I don't even know a group that would hack the Watchtower.
I said, don't you think they'd remove it straight away if I changed the child sex abuse policies on the website? I said, don't you think they'd have me up in court?
I'd heard Anonymous had threatened to hack their website.
Yeah, really? I heard about that, yeah.
Oh, so apparently
I was kind of hoping it was true.
Yeah, me too.
Okay, you heard it on the glass table first. Apparently Apostates are anonymous now.
Right.
That's badass. I like that, actually. I'm good with that. I approve that.
Yes.
Please. Believe that I'm a badass hacker that could vibe with Anonymous. Please do. And act accordingly when you're speaking to me. Thank you.
Okay, so we're at the end of our stream. Leslie, we want to thank you for for coming. But before you go, I want you to tell us a little bit about yourself and a little bit about your Jehovah's Witness story. I don't want people to get off and not know who you are.
Yeah. So I still live in Colorado. I was born and raised here. My parents, grandparents, and on my dad's side, some of my great-grandparents became Jehovah's Witnesses. From, I don't know, about 3 on, I was like, this is just not for me. So I never really jived with it, but I gave it a good try because I really wanted to make my parents happy. I was baptized at 14. I was disfellowshipped at 15. I'd realized I made a huge mistake. I was disfellowshipped again at 17, and then I disassociated at 25 and have not been back since. And
Well, welcome to the 3 times this club. That's what I call it.
yes,
That's me because I was this. Well, I don't know. Yeah, this, and this. 3 times. And you said you was this, and disassociated. So
yes,
right. Good for
Yeah.
you. Taking your power back.
yeah. I know a lot of people talk about, fading is the way to go, but for me it felt really good to say I don't want to be a part of this anymore. This is not my thing. Yes, I survived, quite a bit of child sex abuse and at the hands of my grandfather, and quite a bit of physical, mental, and spiritual abuse at the hands of my father. So it's been a lot of recovering and healing from that.
Yeah.
But I like my life today. I have, I'm married. I have 2 fantastic kids. I have friends that are, they're the best family I could have. They're better than my blood family. And
Yes.
I consider myself very lucky that I got out at 25 and I didn't waste any more time there. And, I've been able to build a life that I love today.
Well, as a wife of a husband who's a fader, I definitely understand it. I would love, and we live for the day that he actually makes that choice. It is a personal choice, for people to decide who fade and those who stay. But I always say it's a way to take your power back. When I went, I was this for a multitude of things, but one of the things that stuck out was the apostasy. Having that label, obviously. I embrace it now, just like you embrace your life, honey. So all those people watching thinking it's not life after the Jehovah's Witnesses, it most certainly is. Let me tell you what an urgent legend is. That when we want to leave because we want to sin, that's the urban legend that they tell you. Oh, we want to leave because we want to go out here and do worldly things. Well, some of us really do. I wanted to be worldly at one time. But ain't nothing wrong with it. I mean, we're with it. And I know you're not going to listen to me now or you don't hear me now. And I say this, we have to talk to our audience because we have audience that is mixed. You have extra Jehovah's Witnesses and we get Jehovah's Witnesses who bomb our stream. So that is an urban legend. There is life after the Jehovah's Witnesses. Our lives don't fall apart. We don't get on drugs. What else? What else the urban legends they should say about us?
We don't worship Satan.
Yeah.
Yeah, and other than that, adding to what you said, that we are just leaving to, sin and all that. The other is that we are malicious, like when we try to interact with you.
Or bitter.
Yeah, and I reminded a Jehovah's Witness today that, look, mate, I'm not trying to sell you to Satan. I don't believe in Satan, so that's there you go, and then. That I'm not malicious. I'm really not trying to drag you away from your belief. What I'm trying to do is, just consider the fact that there is millions, like if there is 8 million, a million of Jehovah's Witnesses, there must be at least that of apostates. Even if they speak out or they don't speak out, there's a lot of us. And we're not, we're not all the same. And just as, you use the no true Scotsman fallacy to be like, oh, well, that pedophile in the Kingdom Hall is not a true witness or whatever. That the same applies for us. We're not all the same either.
Go ahead, Emma.
We don't all become atheists.
True.
We're not trying to take you away from God. We're trying to take you away from a corrupt organisation that's pretending to speak for God. So if you leave and you still want to believe in God, that's up to you. That's not our mission.
Well,
Right. Another that we all were disrespectful to the elders or something, leadership. That's why we got, I didn't want to cut you off. Our urban legend is, no, people don't just get kicked out of the Jehovah's Witnesses unless they sin. That's not true. If you disagree with the leadership, you get kicked out as well. That's not a sin. Go ahead, Leslie.
One thing my dad told me before I left is he said, Satan will never let you be successful in life. He's always gonna let you get right to the point where you're starting to get successful, and he's gonna take it away because he doesn't let people who leave Jehovah be successful. And I spent years afraid of that. Like, it seems like the silliest thing now, but I was terrified of that for years after I left. And it's not true.
Right.
It's not true at all.
Right. Or that we so unhappy.
There's nothing
We're
out
not
there waiting to sabotage me.
Yes, some big boogeyman.
The amount of JWs that say stupid stuff in the groups, like, get a job. So just because you're on we're on a JW site, that means we don't have jobs? No, you're all junkies, like, you're all into drugs and junkies and worship Satan. It's just like,
or that somehow that what's his name? The guy who wrote Crisis of Conscience.
Raven Franz.
Yeah, is somehow our leader. That's an urban legend.
oh yeah, because I think we've got some apostasy headquarters. Like, I've been told as well that I must be a prostitute and like all sorts. It's like, where do you get this logic from? Really?
Urban legends, stuff they stuck around in field service groups to scare each other and to stand into the organization.
Right. Exactly.
All right, so you guys, thank you so much, Leslie, for sharing your story with us, trusting our platform to do it, and as well as joining us for the Urban Legends. That was pretty cool, y'all. I think we covered a lot of them. And if you didn't hear some of them on the show, go ahead and leave them in the comments, and because we usually reply to the comments, later on, staggering throughout the week. Also, I'm glad to see some of our YouTubers are back. Thanks for joining us this week. I don't know if it was technical issues, because we look like we're having technical issues almost 2 weeks in a row.
It must have been, because there was no YouTube comments came through like last week at all.
Not at all.
I don't know what went on there.
So our show next week, or our live broadcast next week, is what do we have coming up? Is it the ARC one?
Yeah, the Australian Royal Commission and the Watchtower Victims Memorial Day.
Yes. See, if you're looking at Emma's poster in her stream, we'll be highlighting the Watchtower Victims Memorial Day. You are going on a protest, right?
Well, yeah, because I was going to put posters up yesterday, because I found out the other day that they've brought it forward a week this year, where it's always been on the 26th of July. But I was ill yesterday, so I didn't get to go and put my posters up. So I'm going to stick to my original date, and I'm still going to go next weekend. And what I normally do is just put posters up around my town. I'm not sure how restricted the train station is going to be during COVID, but we normally go and put like flyers out on the tables and then leave some flyers around town and that kind of thing. So I plan on doing that next weekend.
Emma, you back in action after COVID. COVID can't stop Emma,
y'all. No, it's been so long since I've done that kind of stuff. It's been weird.
If you joined our last show, you can catch a clip that's circulating around of Emma's talking about her activism and how you can support her through her Patreon. All of her the donations go 100% to her printing up those type of graphics behind her, and to her activism actors. And she is the activist that tell you where your money go. That ain't
and I send
shame.
them to other people as well. If they want paper versions, I do post them to other people as well.
Yes, she does. She sure does. And we're collecting stories for the ARC. So if you, I know Leslie, you mentioned you had background with sex abuse. If you want to share your story, you're more than welcome to come back on a live stream next week. We have a few other people lined up. We're going to share stories. Emma, you've collected stories.
To share as well. People's stories online. So.
Yeah, so it's going to be one of our bigger shows, and be prepared. It might be one of our longer streams next week. So we're calling this a special, just like our memorial special.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, hi. Hey, baby. You bombing the live stream? Oh, what a cutie. So you guys, we're going to go ahead and sign off and say goodbye. We thank you for joining us. Make sure you come back for the ARC, the Royal Commission, or rather special, along with the Watchtower Memorial Victims Day next week. And I guess we'll see you guys soon, right?
Yeah.
Same time.
Thanks for joining.
Bye. Thank you for having me.